Ethan wakes up before the sun, same as always. The alarm hums at 5:30 a.m., and he shuts it off before it gets loud enough to bother Laura. She's still asleep, turned away from him, wrapped in the thick duvet, like she's hiding from the world. He sits on the edge of the bed for a moment, letting the stiffness in his back settle before moving. Another long day ahead. He dresses in silence, the ritual muscle memory by now. Navy work shirt, jeans, steel-toe boots. He doesn't eat breakfast. Never has time. The job calls early, and there's a comfort in getting started before the city is fully awake. The van is cold, a little cluttered with yesterday's tools, but it's his space. It smells like copper, sweat, and rust, real work. His first call is a busted water heater. An old woman thanks him 3 times just for showing up. He nods, fixes the problem in under an hour, then moves on. That's the rhythm. One job after another. No time for much else. 12 years of marriage, and somewhere in those years, the talking became less frequent. Laura's work as an interior designer is more flexible, more creative. Her days are filled with colors and ideas. His are filled with pipes and pressure valves. Opposite lives, but they've made it work. At least that's what he tells himself. When he gets home, she's on the couch, scrolling through her phone. She smiles, but it's faint, distracted. He tells her about a strange plumbing setup in one of the houses he visited. She nods, doesn't ask questions. Dinner's already cold on the table.
He doesn't complain.
He never does. She's been wearing more perfume lately. Ethan notices it in passing, but doesn't say anything. She's also started going out more for meetings that don't show up on the shared calendar. Again, he doesn't ask. He respects her space. That's what good husbands do.
Right?
In bed, she turns away from him again. He lies there, staring at the ceiling fan spinning slowly above. Their bedroom feels colder now, even when the heat's on. He reaches out, lets his fingers brush against her back for just a moment. She shifts away. Ethan gets up earlier the next day. There's a sink leaking in a townhouse across town. A familiar sound, steady, rhythmic, like a ticking clock counting down to something. He fixes it quickly, efficiently, as always. The homeowner calls him a godsend. He smiles politely and moves on. Back at home, Laura's not there. Just a note on the counter saying she's working late. He heats up leftovers, eats alone. He tries to call her, but it rings out. He puts his phone down and starts sharpening a pipe cutter. Outside, rain begins to fall lightly. Inside, silence stretches across the living room like a fog. Ethan watches it settle. Something in him feels off, unsettled. But he doesn't know it yet. So he gets ready for tomorrow, hoping it's just another long week. The job came through a contractor Ethan had worked with before. Big house on the east side, new money, clean lines, and too much marble. He didn't think much of it at first. Just another remodel, another high-maintenance client. But the name caught his attention, Derek. It rang a bell, though he couldn't place it. When he showed up for the first day of work, Derek greeted him with a firm handshake and a wide grin. Flashy guy. Designer clothes, too much cologne, the kind of smile that's used to getting attention. He acted like they were old friends. Asked Ethan if Laura was still doing design work. Said her ideas were brilliant. Ethan didn't respond right away. He hadn't heard her mention this guy. She usually told him about her clients, especially the high-end ones. He gave a short nod, said she was busy lately. Derek moved on quickly, said something about needing the master bathroom done fast. Deadlines. Always deadlines. In the truck later, Ethan sat still longer than usual. Hands on the steering wheel, engine running. He pulled out his phone, checked Laura's last few work appointments. No mention of Derek's name anywhere. Just meeting with client and site visit. Nothing specific. He let it go. Next week, while rerouting some old copper lines in the master bath, Ethan noticed a photo on the hallway table. Laura and Derek. Laughing, heads close together, glasses of wine in hand. It wasn't some group shot. It was just the two of them, clearly at some private dinner. His stomach dropped. That night, he asked her how her day went.
She said fine long.
She asked about his, and he told her about the remodel. He said the client mentioned knowing her. She barely blinked. Said, "Oh, I think I did some concept boards for that property a while back." Then changed the subject. A few days later, he found a necklace under their bed while vacuuming. It wasn't one he'd seen before. Delicate chain, small emerald stone.
He asked her about it.
She said it was a gift from a client, that she forgot it was there. Said it didn't mean anything. He nodded. She walked away. He started working later, picking up more jobs just to stay out. But thoughts kept circling.
Her mood swings.
The way she barely touched him. The constant buzzing of her phone, screen tilted away from him. He wasn't a jealous man. He never had reason to be. But now there were too many details that didn't add up. One morning, he drove past a cafe she used to love. Her car was outside. She'd told him she was across town with a supplier. He didn't stop. Didn't go inside. Just kept driving. That night, he lay in bed next to her, wide awake. Her breathing steady. His mind racing. Something was wrong. And he knew, deep down, that whatever it was, it had already started long before he noticed. She left her phone on the kitchen counter while she took a shower. Ethan didn't plan to look. He stared at it for almost a full minute before reaching for it. His hands didn't shake. He just unlocked it, same passcode she's had for years, and opened the messages. The first name that popped up was Derek. He didn't need to read much. A string of texts, most recent only 2 days old. Phrases like, "I miss your skin," and "last night didn't feel real." Photos deleted, but replies were enough. She told Derek she loved how safe and free she felt with him. That she couldn't stop thinking about his touch. That she wished she could pause time when they were together. Ethan placed the phone back exactly where it was. He sat at the dining table for a long time. No rage. No yelling. Just a dull, deep weight in his chest. It was a silence he'd never known, one that made the sound of the fridge hum feel deafening. He wasn't confused. He wasn't in denial. He just hurt. She came into the kitchen later, smiling faintly, hair wet, towel around her shoulders. Asked if he wanted tea. He said no. Looked at her like he hadn't seen her in months. She didn't seem to notice. Or maybe she did, and chose not to acknowledge it. That night, he asked her directly. No drama. Just, "Are you sleeping with him?" She froze, eyes wide for half a second, then looked down. Didn't lie. Didn't deny. Just whispered, "I didn't mean for it to happen." Then added, "It's not just physical." That stung more than anything. She said she felt invisible. That the house felt like a machine. That she was lonely even when he was home. That Derek made her feel seen. Desired. Wanted. All the things she said Ethan stopped giving her. He didn't argue. Maybe she was right. Maybe he had disappeared into work, into routine, into duty. But he did it for them. For the mortgage. For the plans, for her. She cried. Said she didn't want to hurt him. Said she loved both of them in different ways. That sentence broke something in him. Love didn't come in pieces. Not to him. He told her he needed space. That he couldn't sleep in the same bed with someone who kissed another man in secret. She nodded like she expected that. No resistance. No apology big enough to change the truth. She didn't ask him to stay. He packed a bag before the sun rose, grabbed a few clothes, his work boots, his tools. She was asleep on the couch. He didn't leave a note. Just closed the door quietly behind him. The street outside was still dark. A street he'd walked 100 times, but now felt foreign.
Cold. Distant.
He didn't cry.
Not then. Not yet.
Just kept walking, one foot in front of the other, like any other job, like it was something that had to be done. Ethan found a small place above an old hardware store. One room, basic kitchen, barely enough space for his gear. But it was quiet.
Clean. His.
He filled the silence with work, taking every call that came his way. Didn't say no to anything. Water heaters, busted drains, clogged toilets. He showed up, got it done, moved on. Word spread fast in the area. Clients liked that he didn't talk much. He showed up early, left late, charged fair. He wasn't trying to grow a business, he was just trying to stay moving. The stillness was what hurt. The thinking. He didn't want time to replay old words or moments. He just wanted to fix things. 2 months passed before he met her. A call came in from a woman named Rachel. Said her kid had flushed a toy car down the toilet. Ethan almost skipped it. It sounded like a mess. But he went. She opened the door with a tired smile and a toddler on her hip. No makeup, hair tied up, eyes kind. She thanked him twice before he even stepped inside. He cleared the blockage in 20 minutes. Before leaving, she offered him coffee. He said no at first, then changed his mind. They sat in her small kitchen, the kid watching cartoons in the next room. She asked about his work. He kept it brief.
She didn't pry.
He saw her again 3 weeks later. Another call, this time a leaky faucet. Maybe it was real. Maybe not. But he went. She smiled the same way. Easy, unforced. They talked a little longer that day. She told him about her divorce. About raising a son alone. About trying to fix a life that wasn't broken all at once, just slowly. Ethan listened. Not just out of politeness. He found comfort in her voice, in the simplicity of her truth. There was no performance. No layers. Just someone tired of pretending, same as him. Over time, the visits weren't always about broken things. Sometimes she called just to ask questions about a project she was working on. Sometimes she didn't call at all. He just showed up with coffee and an excuse. She never asked about his past. Not directly. One day, he told her anyway. Told her about Laura. About the betrayal. Not for pity, but because it was finally time to say it out loud. Rachel didn't respond with advice or anger. She just listened. And that was enough. They never rushed. No promises. No labels. Just long conversations, quiet dinners, and the occasional brush of hands that felt like more than it was. He didn't know where it was going. He wasn't sure he needed to. Ethan wasn't healed. Not completely. Some wounds take longer. But he wasn't numb anymore either. And that mattered. For the first time in months, he started sleeping through the night. Not because everything was fixed, but because not everything needed to be. Some pipes can't be patched.
Some just need to be replaced.